The man on your screens, whom we spoke to just a couple of days ago, has now become Chief Minister, a tribal leader, becoming Chief Minister of the state of Chhattisgarh for the first time. On the broadcast with me, Editorial Director of India News, Alok Mehta, Himanshu Bhatt joining us, Vineet Goenka on the broadcast with us as well. Alok ji, so now you have a Santal Odia who's become head of state as President of India. You now have a tribal who's won from Kunkuri, a scheduled tribe seat, who for the first time has become Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. In between, you saw the Prime Minister come up with a 24,000 crore rupee development plan for the 70-odd tribal districts in the country. There is a lot at stake here, and this is a clear indication from the BJP. They are going for the tribal voters and Vikas.
Rishabh, one should congratulate our channels also, because since beginning we are talking about the tribal leadership. You know, in last 75 years, there was no leader. Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh were joined, and then after the Chhattisgarh emerged, still people were feeling that there should be a tribal chief minister there, because the demand for Chhattisgarh basically was for tribal people from Bastar, and that's why the Prime Minister Narendra Modi always give priority to those areas, and Vishnu Deo Sai was working since long. And remember, 1990, Narendra Modi ji was also in the organization, and he was traveling Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and all. Sometimes he was also in charge. The exact year I don't remember. But later on, you see, that's why Vishnu Deo Sai, and also he was in the ministry of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. People thinking that because he was also close to Raman Singh, because Raman Singh was the Ekshatra leader almost, he was ruling for 15 years. And that's why he's very sober, very committed. And for tribal, you are very right. Not only for Chhattisgarh, it's a very ambitious state. Now the development which is started by Raman Singh, again it will start in a big way. And then the Jharkhand, Arjun Munda is there, but he is also senior like a Raman Singh. So maybe, but he will help. Babulal Marandi will emerge there, because now he again joined. He was also Chief Minister. He was left BJP because of some other reasons. But now the Jharkhand, Odisha, the all tribal area, it is going to help in the Lok Sabha election. That's why, not only for election, but for the tribal people, it will help.
Yeah, it's not a one-off. Like I said, there's a pattern. Generally, when you are doing politics, and I'm not talking about governance here, okay? Governance and politics, while they have interlapping people, are two different things. Governance means benefit for the people of the tribal communities, that Vishnu Deo Sai actually goes and provides Vikas on the ground. He lives the promises of the double engine Sarkar and all these things. Politics, of course, is about courting community votes. And let's try to see if we can get some audio from there on the ground, because he just might say something. It'll be good to hear from him. Can we listen into what's going on?
लगातार आपका नाम भी आगे कर रहे थे मुख्यमंत्री के पद को लेकर। आप सभी को बात करेंगे, बाद में बात करेंगे। बधाई हो बहुत
करेंगे, which means he said he's going to come and address the press. He was flanked there, of course, by Sarbadan Sonowal, that you can see. That's the central leadership team that arrived as observers in this legislative party meeting. Any more garlands and we wouldn't have been able to even see him, let alone hear him, because every BJP leader worth his or her salt now wants to be photographed and be in the presence of the man who is anointed now as the next chief minister. But we are having a larger picture conversation, and I was disaggregating two things: politics and governance. Now, in terms of politics, there are 47 scheduled tribe seats in the country. They largely have a swath around Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Odisha, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, parts of Bihar, where the tribal vote matters. There's about 8% nationally of the tribal vote that matters. And as a political party, you are then drawing up communities, because communities do exist. We call them identity politics, caste politics. Is generally considered as a bad word. In many regards, probably is. But communities do exist, and communal identity is important. Let's not discount it. So, for people who have not had the best privileges of history, these are significant moments. You can't understand how inspirational this will be for the people who are coming from these mountainous areas, which is what Sarguja represents, who come from subsistence farmers. These are not massive farmers. I think more reactions coming in from the ground. Can we listen in? Is it possible to hear in?
न्यूज़ 18 का सर आप एक बता दीजिए सर, क्या है थोड़ा सा बात हुई है क्या सर?
विष्णु देव साई जी के नेतृत्व में अपना सर्वश्रेष्ठ देते हुए छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता जनार्दन के लिए काम करेंगे।
सर सीएम के साथ साथ क्या डिप्टी सीएम वाला भी कोई फैक्टर
नहीं, अभी यहाँ पर कोई घोषणा नहीं हुई है। आदरणीय विष्णु देव साई जी को मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में, विधायक दल के नेता के रूप में।
All right. So now then of course it is a political balancing act. Now Raman Singh has been chief minister of the BJP for 15 years, right before Bhupesh Baghel. He's of course from the upper caste. Now the question is, the man on your screens has a good association with Raman Singh. He has a reasonable association, effective working relationship even with the party leadership in Delhi. The several central observers will be speaking once that connection stabilizes. It will be the sheer load of people telecasting there we go. Let's listen in.
सभी माननीय सदस्यगण ने उसको सिलेक्ट किया है। मैं विश्वास रखता हूँ और मुझे पूरी श्रद्धा है कि जनता की आकांक्षाओं को पूरी करने के लिए विष्णुदेव सहाय जी के नेतृत्व में सरकार काम करेगी।
एक बड़ा कार्ड खेला है क्योंकि आदिवासी मुख्यमंत्री की मांग बहुत लंबे समय से थी। एक पार्टी के नेता छोड़ सकते।
बस हो गया। धन्यवाद दोस्तों। चलो हो गया भाई। धन्यवाद, बधाई हो।
बधाई आपको हो।
सभी को बधाई हो।
का जवाब दे दीजिए।
अरे भाई
बहुत लंबे समय
धन्यवाद जी, धन्यवाद।
आदिवासी मुख्यमंत्री की मांग हो रही थी। उप मुख्यमंत्री बनाएंगे क्या? उप मुख्यमंत्री बनाएंगे। सर बता दी मनसुख जी जल्दी बोलते नहीं है, जल्दी कुछ बताते नहीं है, लेकिन
all right. Deepak doing his best to get a longer statement from Mansukh Mandviya there, who is of course Union Minister for Health, Chemicals and Fertilizers. But Deepak, thanks. You carry on, Deepak. We'll let you get the faces. You carry on, please. We'll continue the discussion meanwhile here in the studio, because the substantive part of what we're expecting is the announcement has been made. There might be a Deputy Chief Minister. There most probably will be. There might be two. There will be a cabinet announcement. You'll get to know a date of swearing in. Probably will be quickly, within a day or two. So maybe by either tomorrow or Tuesday, most likely Tuesday, the swearing in will happen and there will be a CM. So I was once again, like I said, disaggregating. So now let me come back to Vineet Goenka. Vineet ji, first of all, many congratulations. It's always heartening that for politicians who like to see the party they support to be in power and coming up with interesting, both politically savvy and developmentally savvy choices for who should be the leadership and the face. Is the BJP now confident, in your opinion, Vineet Goenka, that it has tribal faces, that it's a party with tribal faces? The man on your screens was the only tribal minister in the union government just a few short weeks and months ago. Now he's chief minister, and of course in the union government he was serving under the head of state of a recently elected President of India, who was of course a tribal from Odisha.
Rishabh ji, Ram Ram to you, Ram Ram to all my co-panelists and all the viewers watching me right now. This is good to see, and this is only possible in Bharat and Bharatiya Janata Party, that a Karyakarta who started his career as Galli Karyakarta could reach to this level. And especially if he comes from the tribal backward area. He comes from Konkani Vidhan Sabha, which is itself a challenged area. So I think this will be justice. Almost around 32% of the population of Chhattisgarh comes as a tribal. So their understanding their sentiments, understanding their requirement would be best done by Vishnuji. Vishnuji also has a good support because once he has 53 another MLAs, including him 54, the government will be stable and will deliver. He has one challenge which he has to overcome. He has to undo all the wrongs of the last 5 years done by Bhupesh Bagalji, especially the corruption part, which was rampant in the erstwhile regime. So he has to undo that corruption part, replace some officers who are responsible for this, and then take the state back on the track for development. So I'm sure he can do that.
Yeah, so he has many things to do, but you're giving me the diplomatic answer. My question was something different. Can the BJP, who currently has its tallest leader, who comes from a not well-to-do family, a not well-to-do OBC family, from Gujarat, we keep saying Hindi belt politics, he's a Gujarati, his mother tongue is Gujarati. Just because he speaks Hindi and speaks it well, doesn't mean that's his mother tongue. But an OBC from Gujarat, from a not well-off family, now he is the tallest leader and prime minister. Now a tribal who's president, of course, with the support of the incumbent government, couldn't have gotten elected without that choice, and a tribal CM. So are you now becoming a party that can confidently say that this is a party which has senior tribal leaders, union ministers, people as chief ministers?
I think this is an era where things will move out of the dynasty, especially those who were considering their birthright to rule this country or the states. So I think the people who are connected to masses, who understand masses, will come up. This is a very good choice. And if you see the choice of Bharatiya Janata Party in Uttar Pradesh or Bharatiya Janata Party even in Maharashtra, so caste was never a consideration. It was about capabilities. Yes, good part is that president represents the tribals, the women. The prime minister himself comes from Gujarat. He is an OBC. The caste is OBC. So you have all the right mix. But primary essential of all those people who are in the leadership is capability. So I see that has to be the factor more important than anything.
All right. Okay. The longer Vineet Goenka spends on television with us, the more politically correct he seems to get. Let me get Himanshu Bhatt into this conversation. Himanshu ji, is this a bit of a coup? Not all decisions are no-brainers. You have to think them through. Okay. There are lots of context and calculations that you have to take. You could have made the same argument in UP, but the calculations were different. And Yogi has turned out well. He's been an effective political and administrative performer. We'll have to wait on the administrative performance of Vishnuji as Chief Minister, because only time will tell. But in terms of the pronouncement, in terms of Draupadi Murmu, in terms of the 24,000 crore, 70 district tribal Vikas plan, is this a community that is being well served by the BJP?
I'll tell you, Rishabh. See, as a political student, I was very sure the moment the first phase of polling took place in Chhattisgarh, which was the first one, and where some of the Adivasis said, they said of a sentence very, very, very typical. They said, till now we used to go miles to vote. Now this time the vote has come to us. It was very clear. And if I understand Narendra Bhai well, if I understand the central leadership well, I was very sure this is going to be, if BJP wins in Chhattisgarh, it's going to be a tribal. So that was no brainer for me. But I was very sure that, of these 2 or 3 tribal leaders in Chhattisgarh, who will get the nod? Now here probably, Raman Singh, politically if I speak a little, Raman Singh would have, looks like Raman Singh has had his way. Otherwise, it could have been a woman. That's what is my feeling. But now what is going to happen is, with Vishnu Deo Sai being at the top post, now we are going to have a top bureaucrat which is available in Chhattisgarh. There again, one of the central leaders has publicly pronounced, I want to make this man a big man. And he was a former IAS officer. O.P. Chaudhary. So things are happening. And another thing, what you are talking about politically, 47 seats, implications of this, yes, it will have a definite implications. And the amount of money for the development of tribal areas is going to benefit Bharat and the GDP of Bharat after 5 years, if that money is well spent. And that's why, they are looking for someone who will toe the center line.
No, true that. No, it is, there is room, of course, for initiative.
Yes.
And Yogi has been showing it. It wasn't, I think the bulldozer concept was completely his. The crackdown on law and order was completely his.
In the same state, we have had Bhadewa.
Yeah, so like I said, so there was room for initiative. You can clearly see Yogi Adityanath showing initiative there and coming up with his own ways of dealing with very endemic problems. But when it comes to the highways and the other schemes, while there are very interesting UP government schemes, the best effort has been to implement all the central government schemes because they cover everything from toilets to houses to food to water, everything you could possibly need to live.
Electricity in remote areas.
Yeah, so whatever you like to live with dignity is being covered there. So now then becomes the political context, and I have to ask about the political context for obvious reasons. Alok Mehta, now I mentioned the 47 seats, right, and they're spread over tribal areas. Rajasthan is one of them, Odisha, of course, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh being the primary areas where there are tribal voters. But the BJP has done really well with the tribal voters in Chhattisgarh. In Telangana, is the Congress who did very well with the tribal voters just a few weeks ago. So is there still a fight, or is the BJP now expecting and banking on that 8% vote, which is the tribal vote in India, surging for them?
Rishabhji, I always feel that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi think for long term. RSS also think for long term. Not immediately, but it's still, you are very right. Number of states, even Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana, because they suffered a lot. And that's why even you remember in Karnataka and other states also, in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Bihar, Jharkhand, everywhere you will find more support. And the same thing, other point I wanted to mention, Congress neglected our tribal leadership. Arvind Netam, since 73, I was very familiar, was a minister also in Indira Gandhi days, the Deputy Minister of Education. Can you remember? He left Congress party in the opposing the Rahul Gandhi attitude just before this election. It proves that BJP was fighting with the missionaries. I was reported long back also earlier in the Northeast also, because they were working, and not just because of the religion, because the missionaries, if they do something mischief or do something, are the Naxals. The BJP and Prime Minister, since long, they want to fight outside forces. Naxal also gets support from outside. And the same thing with the missionaries. Even the Mrs. Gandhi took help from RSS at the time for Northeast. Okay, you should help us, and so your Vidyalaya there. And that's why at that time, Mrs. Gandhi also wanted the outside forces against the India. Now we have more challenges. In leadership of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we are fighting with the Chinese, or the world leadership also with us, with India. So that's why we want good development everywhere. The main agenda is not only the vote, but to rule and give results. And that's why in the Bastar region, his meetings were very successful this election also. That's why the very good decision, I feel, in the interest of not only tribal, for the country, it's a very beneficial.
Okay, so that's where it is the best case scenario, because the politics should make sense, the actual cause should make sense, the short-term impact is very useful because in the long term we're all dead, but there is a long-term aspect that this sets, that this you break the shackles, this becomes a precedent gets established. Then it becomes routine. What we want is that your caste and community not to be a factor going ahead. Simply your credibility and your ability to deliver the concept that a road is used by everybody, everybody needs a house, everybody could use good education, everybody needs medical facilities, everybody is born and dies and goes through challenges of life. That is, of course, the ideal scenario. Let me get Vineet Goenka back into this. So, Vineetji, now, in the larger scheme of things, you understand it, you've been a technocrat as much as I do. Mathematics often is very ruthless, sir. And the mathematics does tell us that the BJP had a thumping win in the Lok Sabha. But when it comes to vote share, that 35 to 40% vote share is a very fine line, because 3 or 4% vote share one way or the other can make a huge difference in the number of seats. So this mathematics of the fact that there are 8% tribal voters does matter. Now, with all the things that you've seen happen, not just the Vikas and other developments, are you expecting a surge in the vote share for the BJP in 2024? Perhaps unprecedented surge?
So, I'll answer both the things. One, your answer, and also something which is in my mind. Of course, we still live in India, which has caste combination and also has these fault lines. So it is not only about 8% tribal votes, but it is also about those people who are not declared as to be tribals, but still fall under the category of SC or maybe in the category of lineage. For example, in Maharashtra, there are many communities which do not come in tribals, but yet they live the life of nomadic tribes, or they are in jungles, or they are not in their rural places, they are far hamlets. So even they will impact. This is essentially giving a message that womb of the mother does not certify somebody's intelligence. This is about telling common man that if you are capable, things will happen. And I think that goes very well. If you see the tally of the next Lok Sabha, Bharatiya Janata Party will do much better than the last time's 303 for a couple of reasons. One, the performance of Narendra Modi ji. Two, the way the new leadership is coming up. So both the things will help up. And in the particular case of Chhattisgarh, if I talk to you, see, the employment done in the Agni Veers, if you see, there are a lot of people who have come from Chhattisgarh, and also the undoing of the things which Baghel ji did will help government. Only thing which Vishnu Deo Sai has to do is to rush up. The next 100 days, he may have to deliver unprecedented delivery.
No, absolutely. And sometimes pressure is a good thing, because there's a limited amount of time before an election comes up in the Lok Sabha, which matters a lot. It matters a heck of a lot. Okay? Trust me, it matters for the BJP and every member and cadre of the BJP more. They wouldn't have shed as many tears if they lost Chhattisgarh as long as they won Lok Sabha. If they win both, well, that's Sone Pe Suhaga. Let me get Abhijit Bhatt into this. Abhijit, I know Vineet Goenka is expressing confidence, and I know where the confidence comes from, because Narendra Modi has always surprised us on the upside. It's never a negative surprise, it's generally a positive surprise. He does better than before, and the opposition, where you see that they couldn't possibly sink any lower, sinks lower. That's been the lesson of 2019. But the mathematics is pretty ruthless, sir. If you say 300 seats, I mean, Chhattisgarh, already you won 9 out of 11. UP is almost 100%. Rajasthan was 100%. MP near 100%. Gujarat 100%. Delhi 100%. Haryana 100%. I mean, you can't win more seats. So where are these extra numbers going to come from?
I'll tell you. Is it to me?
Yeah, Amanshu ji, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is basically, what I feel. Now there are going to be inroads from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh to down south. As you said, the northern belt is already cooked. There they cannot do anything more. But it will have a cascading effect in some places in Orissa, some places in West Bengal, despite not being tribal. Despite not being tribal. If the facilities are provided to every class and every economic class, then the message goes down rapidly. And this is what is going to happen. What I foresee is, there are going to be some seats from Tamil Nadu this time. Southern part of Tamil Nadu. I'm taking a little further. Southern part, and the southern belt is very, very ripe. There, on one side, you talk of infrastructure development, which is already there to great extent. Along with it, this hatred towards Sanatan and BJP's born theory of Hindutva.
Okay.
When people go against that, that will form a divide. And with the decimation of AIADMK there, a principal local party, the vote share is going to get split. And when there is a 3-4 cornered contest, the results might be very, very interesting.
Okay. So there are
I foresee that.
Yeah. So there are two factors to this. Okay. We have a first past the post system. So you have to win the majority of the votes casted, not a simple majority. You don't have to win 51% of the votes in a constituency. You just have to be the one with the most number of votes. If there are 1,000 candidates, you can win sometimes by a few hundred votes. So that's how the system works. It is literally the basic structure of India's constitution and parliamentary democracy. The mathematics is difficult because the mathematics tells you that once you win 10%, you can't do better. So if you won all the seats, what more can you win? So you can hope to equal your standing, and as Himanshu ji has pointed out, you can hope to improve performances where you are either non-existent or have not done very well. Telangana is one of them, where the BJP incidentally had more members of parliament recently than they had MLAs. That has of course been reversed now. Andhra is one, okay. Tamil Nadu will have to be one at some stage. Kerala will have to be one for sure. And Karnataka, you already have a presence, and maybe you can improve things. Northeast, for sure, you're going to improve a little bit. But again, the number of seats in the Northeast because of the lower population is very limited. So let me get Alok Mehta back into this conversation. Alok ji, like I said, there are two threads to this. Thread is good is happening in the country. If underdeveloped communities are being given focus, time, attention, energy, something good will come of it. I know politics is sometimes very shallow and cheap, but something good is coming of it. Even if this individual becomes a tribal leader, something good has come out of it. But in terms of the translation for this, is the BJP concerned about the mathematics? In Hindi mein kya ab math se उठ गए हैं? Is Modi so far in a different orbit that he doesn't have to worry about winning elections, because of course he's going to sweep? Or do they have to take extreme care and caution even still?
I think Narendra Modi always take care of everything. He always fights. That's why I still feel for Lok Sabha election, he wants to win 400 seats. But we are talking the extra seats. But you see, in Maharashtra, in Bihar, now they want BJP will go in Punjab, Haryana already with them. So I think everywhere, that's why, and the implementation, you see, in Madhya Pradesh, you will surprise 40 lakh people were working on the voting days. Can you imagine any party? I have seen number of, since 71, I am following politics, but in nowhere in the world, you will find such a network, booth-wise. So that's why you don't feel, certain implementation. He is also monitoring in tribal area. He wants report every month, and even sometimes weekly or fortnightly he asks. I know bureaucrats who retired from Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and he called them, even they are retired, working somewhere in rural area. I can also mention the name, one Mr. Abhijit Sinha. He was working in rural area for tribal since he was also advisor to the Prime Minister after retirement for 6 years. And then he totally concentrate on these areas. So result, this is not because of politics, not just because of the opposition crying that because they are manipulated or EVM. This is work what he wanted to do and deliver to the people, for the poor people. Yeah. So okay. I feel that that's why this is the reason that the Prime Minister will continue aggressively campaigning for 24.
Okay, all right. A quick last thoughts to Mr. Bhatt also. Abhijit ji, the same thought to you is, has Narendra Modi attained that different political maths orbit? Is he free of the political maths now? Does he not have to worry about it as much? He certainly had to worry about it in 2014, for sure had to worry about it in 2019, but he surprised us on the upside either time. Or do you suspect, as Alok Mehta points out, that he is not only an astute person in governance, he is a very astute politician who takes great care in understanding. He might do it from the heart, but there is a political understanding which is far sharper than perhaps yours and mine also.
Yes, I totally endorse that, what you said, political understanding. And he's very clear about certain things. The basic process has to be foolproof. That is what the dictum, what he talks about. That is, you got to, if there are 2,000 votes on a booth, you got to have every page a booth pramukh. His responsibility is to get those voters to the voting booth, and that is all. See, this sort of basic preparations, when it is done and when it is put up, you get such results, what you got in MP, what you got in Gujarat, and where people don't
Recording
work,
stopped.
Yeah, we all
where you don't work, what happens is the results like Karnataka come up. When there are tall claims, There were tall claims made by BJP leaders there. Some of the BJP leaders. I'm not going to name them. I know for sure. But I'm not going to name them. And they said that 3,000 booths are ready, 3,000, this is ready, that is ready. What happened?
Okay.
You fell short by 4% vote.
Okay, I'm out of time. I need to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the bottom line. The bottom line is the BJP has won 3 states, okay, in elections that concluded in results 1 week ago, on the 3rd of December. Here we are now on the 10th of December. Out of the 3 states, 1 chief minister has now been selected. It is the chief minister of a tribal phase of Chhattisgarh, the first tribal chief minister of the state ever. Is there a larger context to this? Absolutely there is. But within this, the BJP is a party that has royalty, Jyotiraditya Scindia of Gwalior, Vasundhara Raje from the interlinked royal families. But it also has people like Vishnu Deo Sai who have come from nothing. They've been astute politicians, they've risen. So credit to them and to their party. But does this then mean the mathematics changes, and which is where, of course, our interest lies, because what's next is always where curiosity takes us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.